Only Rowan is there. And we'll wait for a few more minutes. Let your friends join. Yes, can you text your friends or call your friends and ask them to join soon if you have their numbers?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so another minute when the people are joining on, we'll start. What is the number, Venisha? 202301960. A big number. Is that a roll number? Okay, guys, we'll start. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, I think I'm able to see my screen. Okay, so we have been seeing equilibrium, right? So we saw about your QCs, right? KCs. This QC is equilibrium, reaction quotient, equilibrium constant. We even saw a relationship between KP and KC, right? And I even told you where how you have to do the problems, right? So you have to make sure that you're making something called as equilibrium table very properly. Like all these we saw, I think it's been so long, maybe you would have forgotten. But still, anyway, just give me a, I'll give you a very quick refresh of whatever we saw, right? Say, let me take an example now, right? Or we'll take a question. That would be better because now that we have seen so much theory, right? Let me give you a question and then obviously let me help you do the question. Give me a moment. Hmm. Okay, this seems to be a nice question. Where is the stylus? Ah, yes. So guys, they have given this. So the equilibrium constant K1 for this reaction is 3 to 10 to the power 6. Right. Next, for this, is K2 for this is 6.5 in 10 to the power minus 16. Right. So now what they're asking is for this reaction, NO, sorry, not NO, 2O2, NO2, what is the equilibrium constant value for this? Right. So if you look at this, they have given two reactions and they are given the equilibrium constants, and they've asked for a third reaction, and what is the equilibrium constant for that is what they're asking. Right. Okay, guys, how will you approach this question? Any idea? How do I approach this question? Nobody?
Thinking, sir.
Okay. See, like obviously what you have to do is forget about this K1, K2, forget it. Right. So first, if they're given two reactions like this and they have asked a reaction like this, so obviously we understand that I have to do something to these two reactions. That's how we do in thermochemistry, like we add or subtract or multiply by a factor, right? So something we have to do so that we'll be ending up with this equation, right? Okay, so like how you do, like, and then we'll come back to this, then we'll come back to K1, K2 and K, all these things, how you're going to find out, that we'll see, right? Okay, so guys, if you look at this, I have two NO2 in the product side. Okay, in the required equation I need two NO2 in the product side, right? Now go to the given equations and see where is NO2. NO2 is here, 2 NO2. So this equation is going to come as such, right? Okay, now next thing what I need, one second. I mean, did I give everything properly? Oh, guys, I did a very small mistake. One second. This is NO. I'm sorry. This is NO. And this is not 2. This is only 1 NO. And 2 plus 2. Yeah, now everything is fine. Okay, so everything remains same. Whatever I told you, the method of approach It's gonna be similar. Okay, so I require oops. Two NO2, isn't it? Yeah. So I require two NO2 in the reactant side, sorry, product side, right? So see, where is NO2 first? NO2 is here in the product side. No issues, right? But what I require is two NO2, right? So obviously I have to multiply the first reaction by 2. Done. Okay. Now tell me, guys, if there is a reaction and you know the equilibrium constant for the reaction, and if I multiply the reaction by a factor, what will happen to the equilibrium constant? Tell me. We saw, right, three operations we can do. One is we multiply by a factor. Second is you reverse the reaction. And third is you go for addition or subtraction of the reaction. So in all these cases, the equilibrium constant will change in a way, right? So for this particular case, that is when I multiply by a factor, what will happen to the K value? Tell me.
It doubles, sir.
No, that happens. If it doubles, it is going to be my enthalpy values. Like the energy, if you have energies here, say delta H is given or delta G is given, something like that, then yeah, it will become into 2, right? But what's for equilibrium constant? Everybody forgot. Everybody forgot. Great. And I suppose that you have been studying so much for your exams, and obviously you would have forgotten what and all was being taught, right? That's okay. If you go logically, right? Say, like, if at all, whenever you find you find yourself in these kind of situations, take a practical case. Say what I do, I have reaction like A giving B, right? Then I write, so for this, say it's K1, right? Say now what I do, I multiply this by 2, and say I know how to write K1 for the previous one, right? It will be basically B by A, right? Now if I do what? If I now do into 2 into 2, so now this is going to become B squared, right, divided by A squared, or I can even write it as B by A the whole squared, right? Now or I can write it as K1 the whole squared, right? So what do you see? What's happening? So whenever you multiply a reaction by a factor, right, the power, whichever the factor you multiply, has to go to the power of the equilibrium constant. Please remember this. Okay, so whenever you multiply throughout by a factor, right, this has to go to the power. That is, it is going to become K squared. Like for the unmultiplied reaction, if it is K, for the multiplied reaction, it is going to be K power N, if N is the factor which you multiply. In this case, N is 2, right? So for this reaction, since you have multiplied, it would have become K1 squared. That's what would have happened, right? Okay, next. Now, if I look at next, okay, so NO2 is done, right? We have got NO2 in the product side. It is 2 NO2 in the product side. Okay, now what I need is N2. Okay, so N2, I require one N2 in the reactant side, right? Okay, now N2 is obviously here, right, in the second equation, and again I have to have one NO2 in the reactant side. So obviously this also has to be multiplied by 2. Can I say that? Right? So if this multiplied by 2, I'll get 2 N2, and O2 and other things will get automatically taken care. Don't worry about that. Okay, so I require 1 N2, but here I have only half N2. So I multiplied this reaction also by 2. So what will happen to K2? K2 also will become K2 squared, right? Because I multiplied by 2. Now, obviously what I do, I just need to, whatever you have done, the modifications, just add the modified reactions, right? Just add the modified reactions, right? So now if you add the modified reactions, I know what you have to do. Tell me, what will happen to the equilibrium constant when you add two reactions? When I add two reactions, what will happen to their equilibrium constants? Again, don't remember. Any guesses, guys? You need not be right. Any guesses you want to put in the chat, or you want to unmute and talk? Any guesses? If I add two reactions, what will happen to their equilibrium constants? What should I do to the equilibrium constants? Again, silence. That means obviously you don't remember. Okay, guys, I'll repeat all the three operations. One operation we just saw. When you multiply throughout by a factor, the equilibrium constant will go to the power, right? Right? That's the first operation. Second operation is when you reverse a reaction. Say for this, if I write NO2, this one, NO2 giving N2 plus half O2, whenever you do that, it is going to become the reciprocal. If you do that, it will become 1 by K1. Okay? Whenever you reverse the reaction, the equilibrium constant will become its reciprocal. Right? That's the second operation. Third operation, which you're talking about now, that is your addition of two reactions. Right? So whenever you add two reactions, the equilibrium constant has to be multiplied. Don't forget. Okay, the equilibrium constant has to be multiplied. Right? Again, I can prove it to you with the help of this kind of A giving B, B giving C, and finding A giving C what it is going to be. But you can just go back and check what we did previous times. So in this case, so what you did, you had K1 squared, right? You had K2 squared because you multiplied both the reactions by 2. And since you are adding these two reactions, you for this reaction, that is, this is the required equation, right? For this reaction, the K value which you're talking about, right? K will be equal to K1 K1 squared into K2. Oh God. Right, somewhere here. So K will be equal to K1 squared into K2 squared. That's the answer for this question. Right. So you hope you know how I got K squared, I mean K1 squared, how I got K2 squared, and why are we multiplying? Because we're adding these two reactions to get the required equation. The equilibrium constant has to be multiplied. Okay, obviously now we're not doing calculations. The values are given to you. K1, K2 values are given to you. So you have to square it and then add it. Sorry, not add it, multiply it. You will get the required equilibrium constant. Is that okay, guys? I want everyone to give me a yes quickly in the chat, or you unmute yourself and speak quick.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay, 1, 2. Others? Okay, 3.
Yes, sir.
4. I think there is one more left. Okay, no issues. Fine. Okay, we'll move on to the next question, people. Right. Okay, so now given this question, what is the question? This is the question. 1 second. Yes, so I have N2O4 giving 2NO2. Okay, they have given this reaction, right? So they're asking for this particular reaction, Kp is equal to Kc. Okay, this is given to you. Kp is equal to Kc is given to you. Now the question is, what is the temperature? Right? What is the temperature? That's what we need to find. Now it's a pretty easy problem, just formula substitution. But if you don't know the formula, people, I'm really sorry that this easy question also you'll not be able to answer. So tell me, what is the connecting equation between Kp and Kc? Quick. What is the connecting equation between Kp and Kc? If you have your notes, go through your notes and quickly tell me. You don't have to remember
Kp
it.
equal to Kc
Hmm.
RT
Hmm.
raised to the power delta N.
Exactly, right? That's the equation, right? So if you look at the equation, people, it would have been Kp one second. Yeah. So Kp is equal to Kc RT power delta N. Okay, this is the equation, right? So delta N, we know how to find, right? So delta N is equal to total stoichiometric coefficient of products minus total stoichiometric coefficient of reactants. Okay, now look at this equation and tell me what is the value of delta N. What is the value of delta N for this reaction? I told you delta N is total stoichiometric coefficient of product minus total stoichiometric coefficient of reactants. 1, right? Easy. So it's 2 in the reactant side, so delta N, 2 in the product side, and there is only 1 in the reactant side. So 2 minus 1 is 1. So basically, for this particular case, it will come like this. So Kp will be equal to Kc RT. That's it, right? That's because delta N is 1. Okay, so now Kp and Kc, they are given to be equal, right? So I can write this equation like this: Kp by Kc is equal to RT. No issues. Now Kp and Kc are same, so this will be equal to 1 is equal to RT. So temperature is gonna become 1 by R. That's it. Okay, now what value of R should I substitute is the question, right? So it's pretty simple. Now you're using, obviously, in terms of liters and atmospheres, Kp will be in terms of ATM, Kc will be in terms of mole per liter, right? So you're using liter atmosphere. So obviously R value is 0.0821. Okay, so the answer to this question would be 1 divided by 0.08 approximately, right? So what will be 1 divided by 0.08? I think it would be, so if I write it as 100 by 8, 100 by 8 would be, I think, 12 times 96.
12.5, sir.
Yeah, 12.5. That's the answer to this question, right? Yeah, answer is exactly 12.5. Actually, if you had put the values properly instead of 0.08, if you should actually put 0.0821, then only multiply this, because in your boards they will expect, not boards, in school exams they'll expect precise answers. So it will be 12.18 Kelvin. Like, yeah, approximately. So approximately 12.5 we said. It is going to be 12.18 Kelvin is the answer. Pretty easy. It's just formula substitution. But if you don't remember the formula, nobody can help you. Right. So this is the second question. I think everybody understood. It's pretty easy. I just substituted the values. R value, I have to remember to be 0.0821. You need to know what is delta N, and that's it. The connecting equation. That's it. There's nothing else in this question. Okay. Moving on. Go to the next question. Okay. Take it on, guys. Take it on the question. It's a. I'm going to dictate. Please take down the question. Right. A pure sample of PCl5. A pure sample of PCl5 was introduced into an evacuated vessel. You know what is evacuated? Nothing is there. Like pure PCl5 is going to be introduced into a pure vessel. There's nothing else there. Okay. So a sample of pure PCl5 was introduced into an evacuated vessel at 473 Kelvin. Okay. At 473 Kelvin. Okay. At equilibrium, obviously, at equilibrium, the concentration of PCl5, you can write brackets PCl5 in short form, right? The concentration of PCl5 was found to be 0.05 mole per liter, right? 0.05 mole per liter. This is concentration of PCl5. And for the reaction, the reaction is this. We know what reaction will happen. I have PCl5 giving PCl3 plus Cl2. This is the reaction which will be happening inside the vessel, and they have given the Kc value for this. They have given the Kc value as 10 power 3 mole per liter. Okay, right? This is given to you. Okay, so I'll just repeat the question. Right, a sample of pure PCl5 was introduced into an evacuated vessel at 473 Kelvin. Right, at equilibrium, the concentration of PCl5 was found to be 0.05 mole per liter. Right, and for this reaction, they have given the Kc value also. Right, now what I need is at equilibrium. Right, at equilibrium, what are the concentrations of PCl3? What is the concentration of Cl2? That is what they're asking. Okay, so they are giving you the initial what is that concentration of PCl5 at equilibrium. Not this is not the initial whatever the 0.05 mole per liter they have given is for equilibrium concentration. At equilibrium, that's the concentration of PCl3, and they are given the equilibrium constant. Now we have to find what is the concentration of PCl3 and Cl2. Okay. Now, how will you go about this question? Or let me give you a minute or 2 minutes. Just work it out and tell me the answer. However you want to do it. What is the time? Maybe I'll give you time is 7:30. I'll give you 7:30 till 7:32. Quick. Okay. Okay, we still have a minute. Okay. Okay, guys, I think time's up. Any answers? Did you find anything? Okay, so I think nobody found out anything. Right. Okay, fine. You don't get the answer, but tell me this. The values of this, that is the equilibrium, the concentration of PCl3 and the concentration of Cl2. Do you think I'm going to get the same value for both of them, or the values are going to be different? At least that you can tell.
It will be different, sir.
It will be different. Okay, fine. Yeah. What is it?
It will be same.
Yeah, okay, so it will be same. That's the answer. So we'll just check it. How is it gonna be, right? So I'll just write the reaction again, guys. PCl5 giving PCl3 plus Cl2. So again, see, if at all you have this question, whenever the equilibrium constants, like other than whatever the kinds of problems we saw, whenever equation is given to you, and then they're asking you the equilibrium concentration, find the equilibrium constant, percentage of reaction completion, all these things I ask you, the main thing you're going to do is draw the equilibrium table. Okay, so at initial time t is equal to 0, I know they had some value. Okay, they had some value of PCl5, right? So let me put it as okay, let me assume that there is 100%. Okay, there is 100% of PCl5 and nothing else, right? So let me scale down to that 100% to the scale of 0 to 1, or I would say the fraction. Okay, so basically when I say talk in terms of percentage, it will be 0 to 100, right? But what I'm going to do, not only for this question, for any question for that matter, I am going to convert this into the scale of 0 to 1. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so when I say 1, that means 100%, and when I say 0, 0%. So when I say 0.5, that means 50%, something like that. It's a fraction. Okay, so what I'm doing is that assume that obviously they have given that it's pure PCl5 is introduced at time t is equal to 0. So I assume that I had 100% of PCl5 and obviously nothing for Cl2. Okay, now at that, when I have equilibrium, right, let me say EQLM, equilibrium has attained, right? Now assume that some X would have reacted, right? Some X would have reacted, and some X percentage of PCl5 would have reacted, right? Now, if you look at the stoichiometry, 1 mole of PCl5 gives 1 mole of PCl3 and 1 mole of Cl2. So if I had X moles, obviously I'll be getting X moles and X moles here. Okay, right? Now, in the question itself, they have given us this value. Which value? The concentration of PCl5 at equilibrium. What is the concentration of PCl5? They are given us, that is 0.05 mole per liter. That's what is given to us. Okay, now if I know 1 minus X, can I find, am I doing it correctly? Yeah, so can I find your the X values? Easy, I will be able to find it out. Okay, now you don't even need the equilibrium constant. Actually, the equilibrium constant itself is not required because 1 minus X is 0.05. I know what is my X value, isn't it? So if I write 1 minus X is 0.05, right? So obviously X would have been 1 minus 0.05. 1 minus 0.05.
0.95.
We are doing something wrong, people. One second. Why we should not do like this? Let me tell you guys. See, we have taken the percentage values. These are not the exact concentrations of PCl3 and Cl2. Is it not? Unless and until they give me that it is going to be 1 mole or 1 m, I actually cannot. I will not be able to use it like this, right? But what I can understand is at the so from this table, what I can understand is the concentration of PCl3 and the concentration of Cl2 at equilibrium is same, X and X. That's what I need to understand. Okay, now if I go for this equilibrium constant equation, Kc will be actually equal to concentration of PCl3 into concentration of Cl2 divided by concentration of PCl5. Done, right? Products by reactants. Okay, now these two are equal. I'll write it as X and X, or X, this is X, right? And this is also X. Okay, this is X and this is X, and this value is given to us to be 0.05. That's it. Now I'll be able to find what is the X value, and both the concentrations of PCl3 and Cl2 are going to be same. Right, now if I do that, okay, so equilibrium constant is given to be this one, 8 into 10 to the power minus 3, which is equal to X squared divided by 0.05. Okay, 1 minus X is 0.05 X squared. X squared, why? Because PCl3 and Cl2 are having same concentration. So if this is X, if this is also X, so multiplication will give me X squared. So that's it. So 0.05, I can write it as 5 into 10 to the power minus 2, right? So 5 into 10 to the power minus 2, if I bring it here, I can write X squared as 40 into 10 to the power minus 5, or I can write it as 4 into 10 to the power minus 6, sorry, minus 4. Right? So what will be X value then? X value will be 2 into 10 to the power minus 2 if we take the root of this, because I need to take root to get X, right? So 2 into 10 to the power minus 2, or I can write it as 0.02 m. That's it. That's the answer. Okay, so please understand, whenever equilibrium constants and equilibrium concentrations are given, right, you can directly use the concentrations value, but unless and until they actually give you the initial number of moles, I will not be able to use this value what I said. Say 1 minus x is 0.05, x cannot be 0.95. You can see the total difference. It depends on the Kc value. Kc value tells me how much the reaction goes to completion. Is it not? Right? So I hope everybody understood what I did. This equation was given to you, right? This equation was given to you, and they have given the Kc value, and they've given the at equilibrium, what is the concentration of PCl5 was also given to you. They're asking what is the concentration of this and concentration of this at equilibrium. So we drew the equilibrium table at initially is 1, 0, 0, right? And then I have at equilibrium say 1 minus x, x and x, because you can see from the stoichiometry. And then I just go for the Kc equation, substitute the values and get the x, and that's the required answer, right? So I can show you that also maybe. Yeah, this is what we did. Okay, I hope everybody would have understood. We'll go to the next question. Okay, now this question you have to get the answer because this is similar to what we saw now. Not exactly same, but similar. Okay. Right. Now they have given a reaction like this. A plus B giving C plus D. They have given this. Okay, right? Take on the question, guys. First, take on the reaction. A plus B giving C plus D. Right? Now the question continues. Right. If 1 mole each of A and B are taken, if 1 mole each of A and B are taken in a 5-liter flask, at equilibrium 0.7 moles of C is formed. 0.7 moles of C is formed. Right? Now what they're asking is, at equilibrium, find the concentrations of ABCD. Okay, I need to know the equilibrium concentrations of ABCD. Okay, I'll repeat the question. I have given you the reaction. They are telling if 1 mole each of A and B are taken in a 5-liter flask, right? That is done at equilibrium, 0.7 moles of C are formed. Right now, the information is about C. Now, what they're asking is find the equilibrium concentrations of ABCD and also find the equilibrium constant. Find Kc also. Okay, so what is the question? I need to know what are the equilibrium concentrations. Sorry. What are the equilibrium concentrations of ABCD? Right? Okay. Fine. Now again, for any of this question, do the equilibrium table. Right? Now go for it. Tell me the answer quick. So you have all the necessary information for you to find everything. I'll give you maybe, what is the time? 7:42, 7:44. Go for it.
So could you just repeat the question once?
Yeah, sure. So given the reaction, this is the reaction, A plus B giving C plus D. If 1 mole each of A and B are taken in a 5-liter flask, right? Now that is the initial condition. They're telling 0.7 moles of C is formed at equilibrium, right? Now what are the equilibrium concentrations of ABCD and find Kc? Yeah.
So I have a doubt.
Yeah.
I should draw an equilibrium table for this, no, sir?
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. Okay. Any answers, guys?
Still trying, sir.
Okay. Fine. So let me do it. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. Like we don't have much time. I would actually, if it is a real class, like if you have enough number of classes, and if it is offline, generally I give students their own time to solve it. I'll just wait for at least 5-10 minutes. But here they're already lagging behind, right? So please bear with it. Okay, let me solve it. Okay, so let me write the reaction first. Okay, a plus b giving c plus d, right? So at time t is equal to 0, right? So now what happens? They're telling that initially 1 mole each of A and B are taken in a 5-liter vessel, 5-liter flask, right? So 1 mole of this, 1 mole of this, and nothing of this. See, we're talking about number of moles. Please remember, concentrations will be different. Number of moles by volume. Please don't forget that, right? Okay. Now, at equilibrium, right? At equilibrium, what happens? Say I had some X reacting. And obviously, if one mole of A reacts, right, I require 1 mole of B, 1 mole of C is formed, and 1 mole of D is formed. That's a stoichiometry, right? So 1 minus X. So here also it will be 1 minus X. Here it will be X, and this will be X. Done, right? Again, this is number of moles, right? Okay. Now, in the question, what is given? At equilibrium, 0.7 moles of C is formed. Right. So at equilibrium, what they are telling is the number of moles of C, that is this, is 0.7. Okay. So now we directly know the X value, 0.7, and this X and this is also X. So D value also I know. Done. Right. So what should have been 1 minus X and 1 minus X? 1 minus 0.7 would be 0.3, and this also would be 0.3. No issues, right? Are these the answers, people? 0.3 and 0.7 for A, B, C, D. Are these the answers? Are we done with the question?
Define cases.
Okay, that is okay. Now this is the okay for the first question. The concentrations of A, B, C, D are this is the answers. Yes or no? What do you mean by same, Venisha? Okay, maybe for some other question you're telling, or this question only. Now, what did we find out on this? Now, I told you we are talking about number of moles. Is it not? N value is the one value which we take. We talk about the N value, number of moles value. We found out here also to the number of moles value only. But what is asked in the question? They're asking you equilibrium concentrations, right? So when I talk about equilibrium concentration, it's nothing but number of moles by volume. That's it. So what is the volume of the container? See, everything is happening in this. Exactly. Everything is happening in the same vessel. So you don't have different volume for A, B, C, D. Everything is happening in the same vessel, right? So the total vessel's volume only will take. So the answer for this would be 0.3 for both of these, 0.3 divided by 5 letters, and for both of these it should be 0.7 divided by 5 letters. That's the answer. Okay, so 0.3 divided by 5 would be almost like 0.06, right? Am I doing it correct? Yeah, that's it. That's the answer.
So we have to divide each by 5.
Yeah,
to
everything
find
by
the
5.
case.
0.3 by 5, 0.3 by 5, 0.7 by 5, 0.7 by 5. Everything by 5 because it's a 5-liter container.
I'm
That's
sorry, but could you just repeat this thing,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
we divided by 0.5, 0.7, 0.3, how we
Yeah,
got
sure.
the
Yeah,
denominator?
everything I'll tell you. So this is the equation, right? So the equation is given to you. Now, initially, they're telling you that 1 mole each of A and B are taken, and it's a 5-liter container, right? So we're talking about number of moles now because that data is only given to us. So 1 mole each of A and B are given. Right now, we'll just assume that equilibrium, some x moles have reacted. X moles, if x moles of A reacts, I obviously know that x moles of B also will react because stoichiometry says 1:1. Same way, here also the ratio is 1:1. So here also, if x moles of A are reacting, x moles of C are formed, x moles of D are formed. Stoichiometry. That's it. Now, directly in the question, they say that the number of moles of C at equilibrium, that is this value, is given to be 0.7. Done, right? We directly found out the x value now. Okay, so if this is x and this is also x, so 0.7 for C and D, right? And for A and B, it is going to be 1 minus x, and we just found out x to be 0.7, right? So obviously 1 minus 0.7 will become 0.3 and 0.3. Okay, now we are talking about equilibrium concentrations. So it should be number of moles by volume, and the volume is given to be 5 liters, right? So the equilibrium concentrations of A and B, A, B, C, D are 0.35 divided by 5, this divided by 5, this divided by 5, this divided by 5. That's the answer. Yeah.
So that's next to the 0.3, it's 0.5 only, no, sir.
No, this is 0.3 only, 0.3, 1 minus 0.3. So 1 minus
Yes,
point, and this is 1 minus x, this is also 1 minus x. So x value is same, no? X value is 0.7. So this is also 0.3 only. Right? The next value
Okay,
is
so
also
now I
0.3.
understood.
Okay, right? So again, an easy question. What is the time? Yeah, we will do one more problem. Okay, next question. We'll take. Okay. So we'll actually, instead of doing, 1 second, guys. Okay, we'll take this question. Right. At 700 Kelvin and 350 bar pressure, at 700 Kelvin and 350 bar pressure, a 1:3 mixture, a 1:3 mixture of N2 and H2, a 1:3 mixture of N2 and H2 reacts to form NH3. Reacts to form NH3. Right. Now they're telling at equilibrium, mole fraction of NH3. At equilibrium, mole fraction of NH3 is 0.5. Right? Mole fraction of NH3 is 0.5. Right. Now they're asking find Kp for this reaction. Find Kp for this reaction. Again, I repeat the question. At 700 Kelvin and 350 bar pressure, a 1:3 mixture of N2 and H2 reacts to form NH3. Right. Now they're telling at equilibrium, mole fraction of NH3 is 0.5. Okay. Now what they're asking you is Kp value, equilibrium constant in terms of pressure. Okay, fine. Now let me write the equation first. N2, we know the equation, right? N2 plus 3H2 giving 2 ammonia. Okay, right? Fine. So they have given it as 1:3 mixture, right? We can even take it as 1 mole and 3 mole. That's it, easily 1 mole and 3 moles, which we can just directly take. Okay, right? So now hope you understood the question. Okay, now they have given mole fractions. They're talking in terms of pressures, right? And you have to find Kp. So you have to use a lot of other things what you have learned in your gaseous state chapter. Okay, fine. So now at this problem I will solve, people. Okay, now this kind of problems will be all the toughest kind of problems which can be asked from this particular area. Okay, talking in terms of number of moles and then finding in terms of Kp, right? Because number of moles, if you use, we directly go for Kc, right? But when number of moles is given and then they are asking you Kp, then that's a different kind of problem. Okay, we'll just try to solve it here. Okay, so at time t is equal to 0. Right. So what they're telling is I had 1:3 mixture of N2 and H2 and nothing. No NH3 is present. Right. Okay. Now at equilibrium, I don't know what happened. I say that some X moles of N2 would have reacted. Okay. Now tell me what should I write here in this place in terms of H2 and for equilibrium. What should I write here? Tell me. This is 1 minus X. And this would be
3 minus X, sir.
No. If 1 mole of N2 is reacting, I require 3 moles of H2. How many moles of N2 are reacting?
3 into 1 minus X.
Yes, 3 into 1 minus X is the answer. Or I can write it as 3 moles and initially there, right? Now how many moles are reacting? X moles of N2 are reacting. So obviously 3x moles of H2 will react. It will be 3 minus 3x. Easy. Okay, hope everybody understood why it became 3 minus 3x, right? Because initially I had 3 moles, that will eventually come here, and I say that x moles of N2 are reacting according to stoichiometry. If x moles of N2 reacts, 3x moles of H2 should react, because 1:3 is the ratio. Okay, now what should come here for NH3? What is it? What is it?
2x, sir.
Venetia told correctly, 3 minus 3x. Yes, it's right. Yeah, here it is going to be 2x. Pretty simple. So x moles of N2 is reacting. The ratio is 1:1. 1 mole of N2 gives 2 moles of ammonia. So x moles will give me 2x moles. That's it. Done. Right. Now again, I'm telling you these are the number of moles. Please be very careful. Okay, these are the number of moles. Okay, now what they are given in the question is basically the mole fraction, right? So whenever they ask in terms of mole fraction, the same equilibrium, at equilibrium, if I write it in terms of x, now I know what is x. X is basically the mole fraction. Okay, so you know how to calculate the mole fraction. Mole fraction of a particular component is equal to number of moles of that component divided by total number of moles. Is it not? Right. So let me calculate the total number of moles NT. Right, NT for this will be what? 1 minus x plus 3 minus 3x plus 2x. Is it not? So 1 minus x plus 3 minus 3x plus 2x. This is the total number of moles, right? So what will happen? So it will be minus 4x plus 2x will become minus 2x. Minus 2x, and what is left? 1 plus 3 is 4. Yes, 4 minus 2x would have been, that is the total number of moles. Okay, so we know how to calculate the mole fraction. So this is the number of moles of this particular component. This divided by the total number of moles will be the mole fraction of N2. Right, this divided by the mole fraction. Sorry, this divided by the total number of moles will give you the mole fraction of N2. So what will be in this case? So it will be 1 minus x divided by total number of moles is 4 minus 2x. Right, and in this case it would be 3 minus 3x divided by 4 minus 2x, and in this case it will be 2x divided by 4 minus 2x. Yes, now till now any doubts, guys? What we did till now?
No, sir.
Right, so everything is clear. How we have to know how to draw the equilibrium table properly, or this is all depends on the stoichiometry, and obviously these numbers which are right for the these numbers are coming from the initial number of moles given to us, right? They are telling 1:3, 1:3 ratio. They have taken it in the this thing initial vessel, and this x and 3x 2x all come from stoichiometry. Okay, and now they're given the mole fraction of NH3, so we're going for mole fraction here. We calculated the equilibrium mole fractions. Okay, right. Now for Kp, guys, okay, instead of writing it down, okay, so let me draw it this side, right? So for Kp, guys, basically I need the pressures. Is it not? I require the pressure of NH3, sorry, the equilibrium pressure of NH3, right? The equilibrium pressure of H2 and the equilibrium pressure of N2. Okay, so now tell me what is the equation connecting mole fraction, partial pressure, and total pressure? Do you remember that? I'm asking the partial pressure. So let me write it as PA, P total, and the mole fraction. Do you remember the equation connecting all of these? PA is the partial pressure of A, XA is the mole fraction of A, PT is the total pressure. What is the equation connecting all these three? Gaseous state, what is the equation? Nobody remembers? Any guesses in the chat? Something? PA, PT, and XA. What is the equation connecting all of these? Okay, again, I suppose nobody remembers. It's pretty simple, guys, right?
A
Okay,
equal
right.
to PT into XA, sir.
Exactly, right? That's the equation, right? So now we just come back to P this thing later, Kp later. But how do you write partial pressures? If I want to write PA will be equal to, right? So PA will be equal to P total into XA. Same way PB will be equal to P total into XB. PB will be equal to P total into XP. So you have to remember this, guys. Partial pressure, right? Total pressure, mole fraction. That this equation you have to remember. A lot of times we'll be using in an equilibrium chapter in this. I mean, especially in this Kp equations. Okay, right. So let me go back to this side. Let me wrap this part. Oops. Okay, right? Fine. So now we talked about X, the mole fraction we found out. Okay, now let us talk in terms of partial pressure. Okay, now we talked about number of moles and we talked about X. Now we are going to find what are the equilibrium partial pressures of N2, H2 and NH3. Okay, now what is the total pressure? Is it given in the question? Look at the question and tell me. Is total pressure given to us? Look at the question and tell me.
Given 350 bar.
Yes, that's the total pressure. Whatever the pressure that they have taken initially, it's a closed container, right? Maybe they should have specified that it's a closed container. If it's a closed container, obviously the pressure will not change. Is it not? The total pressure remains same, right? So that P, the total pressure, let me keep it as PT for now, but we know the value. PT is basically going to be 350 bar, right? That we know. Let me keep it as PT for now, right? So partial pressure of N2, how will I find? So now mole fraction I have. So we know the equation PA or PN2 will be equal to total pressure into the mole fraction of N2. PA is equal to P total into XA. Same way for N2 and H2 and H3. So now how will I write? This is the mole fraction. So 1 minus X divided by 4 minus 2X into total pressure, right? That will be for N2. Same way for this, it will be 3 minus 3x divided by 4 minus 2x into the total pressure, that is 350. And for NH3, it will be 2x divided by 4 minus 2x into the total pressure, right? Now these three are the equilibrium partial pressures. Like again, I repeat, this is the mole fraction into the total pressure will give me the partial pressure. Same way, mole fraction in total pressure, mole fraction in total pressure. That's it, right? Now, if I go to my Kp equation, right? So Kp equation, what I need, oops, sorry. Right? So for Kp equation, basically I require, what is the total equation I can tell? It will be partial pressure of NH3 squared. Because you can look at the equation, it is 2NH3, N2 and 3H2, right? Okay, so partial pressure of NH3 divided by partial pressure of N2 into partial pressure of H2 cube. That's it. This is my Kp equation. Right now, all these values I know. What are the values? These are the values. Oh, okay, fine. Anyways, these are the values, right? I can just substitute it here, but there is a way to find your X value. This X, sorry, this X I'm talking about.
Using
Right?
that mole fraction only, no, sir, for
Exactly. Yeah. So obviously we have to substitute all these, whatever the partial pressures you have found out here in the Kp equation and find out Kp. That is okay. But what about this X, small x? How will you find that?
0.5, which is given.
Exactly. So the mole fraction of NH3 they have given in the question, the total mole fraction of NH3, this one is given to be 0.5. Is it not? So from this, you can find the X value, substitute everywhere. That is here, everywhere you substitute, find all these three values and then go for Kp. You will be able to find the Kp equation. Okay, now please remember guys, whenever Kp is asked and they have given you number of moles, right, first draw the equilibrium table, do whatever you know first. At equilibrium, I mean at time t is equal to 0, at equilibrium you have found out the equilibrium number of moles, right? Then if I ask you in Kp, obviously you have to know, use the Pa is equal to P total into Xa, right? So Xa is mole fraction, Pt is total pressure. So you convert moles into in terms of mole fraction, right? And then you use that equation Pa is equal to P total into Xa to find the partial pressures of all the components, not only for this question, any question for that matter. And then you go find the Kp equation. So somehow they'll be giving you this X values, so how much is reacting, somehow they'll give you. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay. So yeah, I think any questions, guys? Everybody understood? Any questions? I want everyone to give me a yes quickly. If you understood, or I can repeat again. Yes or no? Understood?
Understood, sir.
Okay. 1.
Yes, sir, understood.
Okay. 2, 3.
Understood, sir.
Okay. 4. Okay, there are four only. Okay, guys. I think I've taken a little more time. I think that's fine, right? Okay, thank you, guys. We'll meet again. I think tomorrow also you have class because we missed one class on Monday. So you have Thursday, Friday, both classes. Okay,
Yes,
fine.
sir.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah.